opposite shore. Hello, moon.
Well, hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my bread series. We're doing something a little bit different today. Again, something I've never made before. We are making sourdough discard chocolate chip scones, and I've already measured out my sourdough discard. I have to feed this again, but if you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I have had to get a new starter. I had Dolene previously, and then now this is Clint Yeastwood, and this is actually a King Arthur starter that was gifted to me that I've been feeding, and he's almost ready to make bread. But in the meantime, we are going to try out some discard recipes, which I have never done before, but I've been really interested in doing. And I found this little chocolate chip scone recipe on Pinterest, and I thought it looked really good. So that is what we are going to make today. It is really simple, really easy. It's weird making a bread related video that I can just throw everything together. Nothing has to rise or anything like that. So this should be really quick and easy today. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. The ingredients for this recipe are super simple. So for dry ingredients, you're gonna need flour, sugar, chocolate chips, baking powder, and salt. And for your wet ingredients, you are going to need sourdough starter discard, some vanilla extract, and either milk, half and half, or heavy cream, whatever you have on hand, a very cold stick of butter, and 1 egg. Excuse me laughing that you hear in the background. We're always real life on here. But to get started, I am going to whisk together all of my dry ingredients. So my flour, my sugar, my baking powder, and my salt. This is the first time I've pre-measured everything, and I don't think I'm ever going to go back after this. But I'm gonna whisk this together, and then I'm gonna cut in my really cold butter, and you want to make sure your butter is really cold for the pastry dough, and so it's easier to grate if it's really cold. And I'm just going to kind of use the paper as a handle, and I'm going to grate my butter just right into my dry ingredients. So after you've grated your butter into your bowl, you're gonna wanna take a fork and coat all of that grated butter with flour so it doesn't stick together, and it coats all of those little pieces of butter. And then once you've done that, you're gonna take a dough scraper and you're just gonna cut in that cold butter until it's into like little pea-sized pieces. Then after you've done that, you're gonna add in your chocolate chips. I'm just gonna stir those in. We're gonna set this to the side, and then we're gonna get started on mixing all of our wet ingredients together. So in another bowl, we are gonna mix together our starter, our vanilla. I'm using milk, but you can use heavy cream, either will work, or half and half, and an egg.
Then you stood there smiling at me as so many times before. I'll never wanna be away, leave you again. You are all I want and more. It's true.
So now we're just gonna add our wet ingredients into our dry, and we're gonna mix it up with a fork. And the recipe says that it will be dry and kind of crumbly, and not to add any more liquid. Fun fact, I've also never eaten a scone before, so first time trying a new recipe and first time trying scones ever. They just looked really good, and I thought they would be really good with some milk or some tea. So I'm very excited to try these. So our dough is very dry and crumbly, but it's combined. So we're gonna dump it out onto our work work surface. Actually, I'm gonna run and get some flour. So we're gonna lightly flour our work surface. I don't wanna add too much because it's already pretty dry and crumbly. Spread that out. And then I'm gonna dump this out onto here, and it says to shape it into an 8-inch circle, kind of little dough ball. I don't know how that's gonna work because it's so dry, but we're gonna make it work.
Will you still love me? Yes, I'm getting older and old. And when you are away, I sometimes shiver cold. It is hard.
So now it says to cut the disc into 8 wedges with your bench scraper. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get 8 out of this, but we will try. So once you have them cut into your 8 little pieces, I'm gonna go ahead and put them on a baking sheet with a silicone baking mat, but you can use parchment paper if you don't have one of these, and it has to chill in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. I completely forgot, but once these are chilled, you will want to brush them with a milk and sugar mixture before you bake them, so don't forget to do that like I did. Well, a little impromptu guess for my taste test, but it looks super good. It smells really good. I was worried because every time I think about using like sourdough discard, I'm like, is it gonna make it taste really soury? So, it's really good.
I'll be the judge of that.
Okay. I thought they were gonna be really dry.
Like perfect.
Yeah, they're like kind of like a biscuit. Really good. And I have tea, but it's way too hot to drink. Definitely would be good with some milk.
Yeah, it's just like a better muffin.
Yeah, and I can't really taste the sourdough starter in it at all either.
Would recommend, 10 out of 10.
I guess I gotta do more sourdough discard recipes then.
Yes, you do.
But very good. So this is delicious. 10 out of 10, recommend if you need a good sourdough discard recipe. This is the first sourdough discard recipe I've made. I said that in the beginning, but if they all turn out like this and they all taste this good, I'll be making sourdough discard recipes every day of my life because this was so easy to do. Unlike sourdough, that is a ton of steps. This, I just had to throw the discard in with all of my other ingredients, mix it up. Then this one had an extra step of chilling and then baking it. So I'm hooked on sourdough discard recipes, to say the least. I have a whole Pinterest board full of them, so I think you'll be seeing way more sourdough discard recipes for my bread series videos on Mondays. I know last week was a little crazy. I didn't get a bread video up. I tried to film it and then I realized I didn't have all the footage that I needed, and I tried to voice over parts to like piece it together, and that just did not work out. So I just decided to scrap the whole thing, and I was like, we'll just start fresh again next Monday with another bread video, and that's what we did. And I'm kind of glad we took a break because we got this little beauty out of it. So probably gonna go and eat the rest of this. It's probably gonna be my lunch, but I think this recipe would be really good as a breakfast, a dessert, even if you had a little brunch, since it does take a little bit more time to prep. If you had a little brunch, I think this would be a really good recipe for that. But I will link this recipe down below for you guys if you're interested in making it yourself. And I will link the King Arthur sourdough starter down below, or I'll try to find the link for it because that has been a big help to me. I was struggling with my previous starter. I just feel like I'm a broken record about that. I went through probably 2 or 3 that I've tried to make myself, and all of them just had something funky going on. Like my first one, like literally smelled like vomit. Second one, like died out of nowhere. And then my last one, Dolene, kept getting a crust on top, which I know is normal, but my bread just never was turning out with that starter. And then she ended up going So I'm hoping that Clint will be good to us. Everything's going really well right now. Sometimes he's almost like coming out of the top of here. So he's growing, he's thriving, he's surviving. So I'm hoping that I can make some more bread this week when he is finally ready to go. But I think that is all that I have for today's video. I'm gonna stop rambling about sourdough because I do that every single day of my life. My poor husband has to listen to me talk about sourdough all the time. But I'm gonna go and finish my scone, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.